talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent, alongside and our guest in the studio, who just offered me out for a fight, by the way. He's WBO interim heavyweight champion, Joe Joyce. I'll fight you for the belt, he said.
Yeah, he's holding it, taking pictures.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. I'd be lucky to come third in that fight. Let's speak to, if we were going to have a fight, we need it promoted. Let's speak to your promoted. We're not, by the way. Frank Warren joins us live on Drive. Hello, Frank. How are you?
All right. Hi, Darren.
How you doing, Frank?
We got your boy in the studio.
I know. He's got a
Yeah.
mark. Hasn't got a mark on him.
He has. Yeah. Do you know what he actually
Pretty
hasn't got?
fresh, yeah.
From what we've seen at the weekend, you're right. He looks pretty clean, all things considering. I suppose the obvious question, Frank. We'll talk to you a bit later on about the latest goings on with Tyson Fury and so on. But let's talk about Joe Joyce. Where are we at now with his career? I know it's fresh from the victory at the weekend, but his next fight. I mean, you must be talking to various opponents about that. Where would you like to go next? Is it as simple as Alexander Usyk?
Well, Joe knows this. We've had conversations about it. The unification looks like it's going to happen early next year. So Joe will fight early next year as well, and that set himself up to be for the mandatory, because I think the WBO is the next one in. So he's the interim champion. So he'll fight for the world title next year. And in the meantime, he wants to keep busy, and we'll keep him busy.
After his performance, Frank, against Joseph Parker, I mean, surely no one in the heavyweight division now is going to want to fight him.
I wouldn't want to, that's for sure. He's a handful. Look, it was a magnificent fight, and I think that was Joe's coming out fight. You know, he's put in some good performances over the last few years, but he was in with a guy, former world champion, never been stopped, and I mean, he was relentless and done a fantastic job. And I've had nothing but great reports from the fight in the States. So it was broadcast by ESPN in the States, and they're raving about Joe. So it's good. Everything's going great for him, and it's all down to him. All the fantastic work that he's put in, and he does work hard. He goes off to the States and prepares for the fight, so he puts lots of sacrifice in, and it paid off on Saturday night.
Joe, let me ask you, because you're sat in front of us, who would you like to fight next? Irrelevant of who's got what belt, who would you like to get in the ring with next? And also, where would you like that fight to happen? Would you like it over here, in Vegas, over in Saudi? Where would you like the fight to happen?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind thumping up Joshua in Nigeria.
Ooh. Is that the dream for you? Is that if you could fight anyone anywhere?
There's plenty of good fights like Usyk. There's Fury, Wilder. There's a whole all the top five, man. There's
if they were all offered to you at the same time, irrelevant of who's got what belt, who would you like to fight next?
Well, all of the above, the top five.
Okay, and what about fighting in what country? Would you like to do it over here or?
Yeah, well, whichever makes most sense.
Frank, it must be difficult when you've got a fighter that everyone wants to fight and he's desperate to become heavyweight champion of the world, and we all think it's just a matter of when, not if. It must be difficult because the British fight fans want this fight to happen over here, but this isn't necessarily where the most amount of money is. So how do you juggle that?
Well, it's very difficult. You know, first of all, boxers' careers a very short career, and it's the most dangerous of all sports. So it's not like a tennis player or playing a football player. You know, their last fight could be their last fight. If they lose, could be their last fight. So they've got to make hay while the sun shines. And if, for example, if you've got an offer hypothetically of getting, £1 million over here for a fight, and you can go, I don't know, the Middle East or somewhere else, and they're going to pay you $3 million, it's a no-brainer. Footballers do it, and they apply their trade. Good players good players used to go abroad and take the money. So, you can't blame them. But I obviously would prefer all the fights to be in the UK, but some of them financially don't work that way, and the boxers don't get their true worth from it.
Joe, I want to ask you a question. A lot of people obviously have spoke about your chin, and obviously it seems like you don't get hit. When you get hit, you don't move. A lot of people, again, also speak about the biggest puncher being Deontay Wilder. Now, is that something that you've looked at and thought, obviously styles make matches, make fights? Is that someone you'd like to fight?
Potentially. Well, I wouldn't like to test my chin and get hit with that right hand, thank you. But yeah, it's I'll fight anybody, any of the top names, and if it makes sense to fight Wilder, then I'll fight him.
Mm. Frank, one last question before we let you go. Yesterday we spoke to you on the back of Tyson Fury saying that Anthony Joshua had missed the 5 p.m. deadline. listen, we've seen so many things change over a 24, 48-hour period in the world of boxing that sometimes a no can become a yes. Where are we at with that? Is there any change, or is it completely dead now, that fight?
That's Tyson's last words, and that's where we're at. I've not even spoken to him today. He's very, very disappointed. So we'll see. He's had enough. A deadline. He set a deadline which was from 10 days after he sent the contract, and a few people have said that it doesn't make sense. Well, it's 10 days. I mean, you get a transfer deadline for football, and sometimes there's a scramble last minute to buy players and get it over the line, and that's what should have been happening. So see where it goes, but at the moment, I feel we are where we are with it. And just say one thing before I go: Joe Joyce is not just about a great chin. He's got a fantastic jab, and he fought through some great body shots on Saturday. He boxed extremely well.
Okay, Frank, you're a star. We'll let you go. We'll keep Joe
Frank.
for a couple more minutes, but thanks for coming on as always, Frank.
Cheers, Frank.
Hey, Joe.
There you go, boxing pro Frank Warren. How long have you known Frank? How did that relationship happen?
Well, quite a long time. I guess after the Olympics, when I went around chatting to all the different promoters, see what deals I had, I spoke to him, and he was him and Haymaker Ringstar was the last two guys that I was seeing who I was going to go with.
Mm-hmm. And what was it about him that appealed to you?
Well, he's done it and he bought the T-shirt, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's even launched his own channel, etc. He's been there for a long time.
Just quickly, I know we've only
Knows
got
what
you
he's doing.
and he does know what he's doing. The proof is in the pudding,
Charming,
right?
yeah.
And he's got a great pudding, so to speak. Have you spoken to Joseph Parker since the victory at the weekend?
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning. Actually, he rung me up, and
That's nice.
we had a chat. It was no harm by the things were said and stuff. And I was asking how he's feeling, and he's going back to New Zealand. They're gonna have a holiday, get a suntan, eat mangoes, and spend times with his kids and his wife and his kids, and back in New Zealand. So
what do you think his next move will be?
Well, he said he's going to be fighting soon, and he was asking me if I want sparring, like if he wants to spar, like when he gets back to London.
Okay. Do you know when soon is? Do you know whose opponent will be? Because Dillian White's name's been thrown in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I can't remember what he said, but I don't know if it was before Christmas or it'll be early next year or something. I mean, he has to recover from this fight as well.
Yeah, that's going to take some time, right?
That's exactly what I was
a punch
thinking.
to knock him down. Listen, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
Real
you're welcome.
pleasure.
Pleasure as always.
Wherever you go, like even if you go to the cinema, do all these people follow you about, filming your every move and taking pictures of you?
Yeah,
There's people in here now in the studio.
I keep my team quite small, but like today, it's been quite busy, and we've gone to loads of different places and had a lot of interviews. I've talked a lot, so
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job.
He's there now on the TV. That's when I see it.
Oh yeah, behind us on Sky Sports. Yeah, you look happier in this studio than you do in their one. Listen, thank you so much.
Cheers,
a real
Joe.
pleasure. Everyone, as I say, everyone was so excited about meeting you. A real star in the making. We know that it won't be long before you become, fingers crossed, heavyweight champion of the world. And when you do, you legally have to come back and chat to us. Is that all right?
all right.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
That's legally binding.
Cheers,
Thank you so
pleasure.
much, Joe.